Thank you for joining me today on Prophets of Babel with your host Janine as we finish up the first Sefer of Moses.
Chapter 38, the deception and the blessing. And it came to pass that when Isaac was old and his eyes had grown dull and he had become blind, he called Esau, his eldest son, and said unto him, My son. And Esau said unto him, Behold, here am I. And Isaac said, Behold, now I am old. I know not the day of my death. Therefore take, I pray thee, thy quiver and thy bow, and go out to the field and take me some venison and make me savory meat, such as I love, and bring it to me that I may eat, and do this that my soul may bless thee before I die. Now Rebekah heard that which Isaac said unto Esau his son, and it came to pass that when Esau went to the field to hunt for game to bring unto their father, Rebekah came unto Jacob her son, saying, Behold, I did overhear thy father speak unto Esau thy brother, and your father did say unto him, Bring me venison, and make me savory meat, that I may eat and bless thee in the face of Yahweh before my death. Now therefore, my son, listen to my voice, and do according to that which I command thee. Go to the flock, and fetch me from thence 2 kid goats, and I will make them savory meat for thy father, such as he loveth, and thou shalt bring it to thy father, yet he may eat, and that he may bless thee before his death. And Jacob replied unto Rebekah his mother, saying, Behold, Esau my brother is a hairy man, and I am a smooth man. Perhaps my father will feel me, and I shall seem to him as a deceiver, and I shall bring a curse upon me, and not a blessing. And his mother returned to him, saying, Am I not a priestess of Elyon, the Most High God? Why should I do this, except Yahweh hath bade me? Therefore, obey my voice, and go fetch me them. And Jacob went out and fetched the 2 kid goats, and brought them to his mother. And his mother made savory meat, such as his father loved. And Rebekah took goodly raiment of her eldest son Esau, which were with her in the house, and she bade Jacob to remove the garments of Adam and Eve that Esau had taken and sold unto him for the soup. And she put the garments of Esau upon Jacob, her younger son. And she put the skins of the kids of the goats upon his hands and upon the smooth of his neck. And she gave the savory meat and the bread which she had prepared into the hand of her son Jacob. And then came Jacob unto his father, saying, My father. And he said, Here am I. Who art thou? Which of my sons art thou? Jacob lied unto his father, saying, I am Esau, my firstborn. I have done according as thou asked me. Arise, I pray thee, sit and eat of this game that I have hunted, that thou should bless me, even unto thy very soul. But Isaac thought he might have been tricked, and asked his son, How is it that thou hast found meat so quickly, my son? And Jacob answered him, saying, Yahweh, thy Elohim, brought it to me. And Isaac was not pacified. And he said unto Jacob, Come near unto me, I pray thee, and kiss me, that I may feel thee, my son. And by this shall I know if thou be my very son Esau or not. And Jacob came close to his father Isaac and kissed him. And Isaac felt him, saying, The voice is the voice of Jacob, but the hands are the hands of Esau. And he discerned him not, for his hands were hairy as his brother's Esau's hands. And Isaac asked him again, Art thou my very son Esau? And Jacob lied a 3rd time, saying, I am. And Isaac did pray unto Yahweh in his heart, and he did smell the scent of the raiment his son wore, and said, The smell of my son is as the smell of the field which Yahweh hath blessed. And being thus pacified, Isaac said, Bring the meat nearer to me, and I will eat of the venison of my son, and I will bless thee, giving thee a blessing from my very soul unto thy soul. And Jacob brought the meat near to his father, and Isaac did eat. And Jacob brought him wine, and Isaac drank. And Isaac blessed his son, saying, Hot Elohim, give unto thee of the dew of heaven, and the fatness of the earth, and an abundance of grains and wines. And many tribes shall serve thee, and nations bow down before thee. And thou shalt be a lord over thy brethren, and even the sons of thy mother shall bow down to thee and thy seed, and unto those that would curse thee, and thy seed shall be cursed. And to those that would bless thee and thy seed shall come a blessing. And unto thee I do give the keys of the kingdom of heaven, and whatsoever thou shalt bind on the earth shall be bound in the heavens. Now in the footnotes, it says the keys to unlocking the kingdom, the 7 keys are thought to be love, repentance, faith, obedience, purpose, fearlessness, and prayer. See Matthew 16:14 through 19. And it came to pass that Esau, the brother of Jared, came in from his hunting soon after Isaac did finish blessing Jacob. And Esau also had made a savory meat, and did bring it unto his father, and said unto Isaac, Let my father arise, and eat of his son's venison, that thy soul may bless me. And his father Isaac did say unto him, Who art thou? When Esau answered him, saying, I am thy son, Esau, thy firstborn. And Isaac trembled very exceedingly, and said, Who was it then that had hunted the game, and brought it to me, and I have eaten of all before thou camest? For I did eat, and have blessed him, and indeed he shall be blessed. For this was the will of Yahweh in all things. And when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great and exceedingly bitter cry, and said unto his father, Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Isaac was saddened, and said unto his firstborn, Thy brother came with subtlety, and hath taken away thy blessing, as I knew he should. But in my heart I wished it not so. So I heard a podcast of a guy a while ago who said that you cannot trick a man of God who walks and talks with God, who hears his voice, who gets the thoughts of people impressed in his head. I mean, you just can't trick a man like that. He knew what he was supposed to do, and he had to be tricked because he didn't want to, because he loved Esau. Just thinking of that as he admits that he knew that's how it should have been. Yet the will of Yahweh has been done, despite the selfish desires of my flesh. And Esau said in a bitterness, Is not he rightly named Jacob? For he hath supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright, and behold, now he hath taken away my blessing. And then unto his father he pleaded, Hast thou not reserved a blessing for me? And Jacob answered his son, and said unto Esau, Behold, I have made him thy lord, and also his brethren have I given to him for servants, and with corn and wine have I sustained him. And what shall I do now unto thee, my son? And Esau lifted up his voice and wept before his father, saying, Hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Isaac his father answered and blessed him, saying, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above, and by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. Chapter 39, the ladder. And it came to pass that because Jacob had taken the birthright and the holy garments and the blessing from Esau, that Esau hated Jacob. And because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him, Esau said in his heart, The days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. And these words of Esau, her elder son, were told to Rebekah by the angel of Yahweh. And she sent and called Jacob her younger son. And it came to pass that when Rebekah did see Jacob, she did say unto him, Surely Esau thy brother doth comfort his pity by plotting to kill thee. Now therefore, my son, obey my voice, and arise, flee thou to Laban, my brother, to Haran, and tarry with him a few days, until the fury of thy brother subsides. And in time shall the anger of thy brother turn away from thee, and he shall forget that which thou hast done to him. Then I will send and fetch thee from thence. And it came to pass that Rebekah went unto her husband Isaac, saying, I am dreading to my very life that my son might take to marriage of the daughters of Heth. If Jacob take a wife of the daughters of Heth, such as these, which are of the daughters of the land, what good shall my life be unto thee? For have I not taught my sons of Yahweh? And these women worship the Elohim made of the hands of men. And Isaac called Jacob and blessed him and charged him, saying unto him, Thou shalt not take a wife of the daughters of Canaan, as thy brother Esau hath done. Arise, go to Padan Aram, to the house of Bethuel, my mother's father, and from amongst these take thee a wife from thence of the daughters of thy mother's brother Laban. And Elohim Shaddai shall bless thee, and make thee fruitful, and multiply thee, that thou shalt be a great company of people. And then shalt thou be given of Elohim the blessings of our father Abraham to thee and to thy seed with thee, that thou mayest inherit the land wherein thou art a stranger, which Elohim did give us, being the very seed of Abraham. And Isaac sent away Jacob, and he went to Padan Aram unto Laban, son of Bethuel, the Syrian, the brother of Rebekah, the mother of Jacob and Esau. And it came to pass that Esau saw that Isaac had blessed Jacob again, sending him away to Padan Aram to take him a wife from thence, and that their father had blessed him, commanding him, saying, Thou shalt not take a wife of the daughters of Canaan. And that Jacob obeyed their father and mother, and was gone to Padan Aram. And it came to pass that Esau, seeing that the daughters of Canaan pleased not Isaac his father, went unto the seed of Ishmael with his wives, to take unto himself another wife. And it came to pass that Esau took Mahalath, a daughter of Ishmael, a son of Abraham, the sister of Neboha, to be his wife. And she too was not of the covenant, she being of the seed of Sarah, but not of Abraham, as was Isaac, Jacob, and Esau. It explains in the footnotes that it would have been Hagar, and she was an adopted daughter of Sarah, but not of Abraham's loins. And it came to pass that Jacob went out from Beersheba and went toward Haran. And when the sun was set, he did find a suitable place to tarry all the night. And he took a certain stone from the ground, placing it beneath his head for a pillow, and lay down in that place to sleep. And it came to pass that he dreamed a dream, and beheld a vision, and he saw a ladder set up upon the foundation, stretching from the earth unto the heavens, Yeshar El, even the straight path unto Ha Elohim. It says Yesod, Hebrew feminine noun, one of the Sephirot on the tree of life. And the ladder had 10 and 12 steps, making for 22 steps in all. And 3 of the 10 were mothers and fathers, from which the wind and the fire of the Spirit and water with its mercy came out. And the other 7 of the 10 were in duplication, being the 7 days and the 7 seasons or dispensations. And 12 were the heavens themselves, and were the signs given mankind, and their passions thrusting forth in all direction. And all these were a tree deeply rooted into the earth and stretching upward into the heavens. And the tree was aflame, yet it did not burn, for this was the fire of the judgment, with the very flames rolling to the north and to the south, and sealed unto the east and the west. And lo, he did see the Malach of Elohim, eternal holy man, likely Jesus Christ, ascending and descending the straight path, speaking in the tongues of the cherubim. And behold, Yahweh stood above, saying, I am Aye Asher Aye, the Creator, Yahweh, the Elohim of Abraham, thy father, and the Elohim of Isaac. The land wherein thou liest, to thy seed will I give it, and to thee. And thy seed shall be as the dust of the earth, and thou shalt spread abroad to the west, and to the east, and to the north, and to the south. And in thee and in thy seed shall all the families of the earth be blessed. Behold, I am with thee, and will keep thee in all places whither thou goest, and will bring thee again unto this land. For I will not leave thee until I have done that which I have spoken to thee. And when Jacob awoke from out of his sleep, he said, Surely Yahweh Elohim is in this place, and I knew it not. And he was sore afraid, and said, How formidable is this place! This is none other but the house of Elohim, and this place is a gate or portal to the heavens. And Jacob rose up early in the morning and took the seer, or holy stone, that he had used for his pillows, and set it up for a pillar, pouring special oils upon the top of it. And he named that place Bethel, for that place was the house of Ha Elohim. And Jacob, on that very spot, he made an oath, saying, If Elohim will be with me, and will keep me in this way that I go, and will give me bread to eat and raiment to put on, that I shall come again to the house of my father in peace, then shall Yahweh be my Elohim. And wherefore I place the stone, which I have set for a pillar, shall be built a temple, a house of Elohim, for Yahweh, and for Elyon, and for Shekinah. And of all that Ha Elohim shall give me, I will surely give a tenth back unto these. So Yahweh would be Jesus, Elyon would be God, Shekinah is the Holy Ghost. Chapter 40, given in marriage. And it came to pass that Jacob continued on his journey until he came unto the land of the sons of the east. And it came to pass that when he arrived in the land of the sons of the east, Jacob looked and beheld a well in the field, and there were 3 flocks of sheep lying near the well, for the sheep were watered out of that well, and a large stone sat upon the mouth of the well. And the shepherds would gather all the flocks here, and they would roll the stone from the mouth of the well, and water the herds, and then roll the stone again upon the mouth of the well. And Jacob said unto the shepherds, My brethren, from whence are ye? And they replied unto him, saying, From Haran. And Jacob asked them, Know ye Laban the son of Nahor? And they replied, saying, Yes, we know him. And Jacob asked them, Is he well? And they said, He is well. And behold, here cometh Rachel, his daughter, with the sheep. And Jacob said, Behold, it is yet high day, neither is it time that the flock should be gathered together. Water ye the sheep, and go and feed them. And they said, We cannot until all the flocks be gathered together, and until they roll the stone from the mouth of the well. Then we water the sheep. And while Jacob spoke with them, Rachel came with her father's sheep, for she kept them. And it came to pass that when Jacob saw Rachel, the daughter of Laban, the brother of his mother, and their sheep, that Jacob went near and rolled the stone from the mouth of that well, and watered the flocks of Laban, the brother of his mother. And Jacob kissed Rachel, and lifted up his voice, and wept. And he told Rachel that he was a kinsman of her father, and that he was the son of Rebekah. And she ran and told her father. And it came to pass that when Laban heard the tidings of Jacob, the son of his sister, that he ran to meet him, and embraced him, and kissed him, and brought him to the house. And Laban looked upon his countenance, and said unto him, Surely thou art my bone and my flesh. And it came to pass that after Jacob had abode with Laban the space of a month, Laban said unto Jacob, Because thou art my kin, shouldest thou serve me for nothing? Tell me, what shall thy reward be? And Laban had 2 daughters. The name of the elder was Leah, the name of the younger was Rachel. And Leah was tender-eyed, but Rachel was beautiful and well-favored. And Jacob loved Rachel, and said, I will serve thee 7 years for Rachel, thy younger daughter. And Laban said unto him, It is better that I give her to thee, than I should give her to another man. Abide with me. And it came to pass that Jacob served Laban for 7 years for Rachel. And it seemed unto him but a few days, for the love he had for her. And it came to pass that after 7 years, Jacob said unto Laban, Give unto me my wife, for my days of serving thee are fulfilled, and I desire that I should be with her. And Laban gathered all the people of the place together and prepared a great feast. For in the evening Laban took Leah his daughter and brought her to Jacob, and she went in and lay with him. And it came to pass that in the morning, behold, Jacob saw that it was Leah that had been given him, and he went unto Laban, saying, What is this thou hast done unto me? Did not I serve with thee for Rachel? Wherefore, when hast thou deceived me? And Laban said, It is not done in our country to give the younger daughter before the firstborn. Therefore, I pray thee, give her this week, and we will covenant thy service unto me yet another 7 years. And Jacob did so and fulfilled her week, and Laban gave him Rachel, his daughter, to wife also. And Jacob went in also and lay with Rachel. And Laban gave unto his daughter Leah Zilpah, his handmaid, to be a handmaid for her. And Laban gave to Rachel his younger daughter Bilhah, his handmaid, to be her maid. Chapter 41, the bounty. Footnote: Jacob was tricked into being a polygamist, likely hurt the relationship. Laban tricked Jacob so he would honor the marriage covenant to both sisters. And it came to pass that Jacob served Laban yet 7 more years, as he had covenanted for Rachel. And Jacob loved Rachel more than Leah. And it came to pass that Yahweh opened the womb of Leah, yet Rachel was left barren. And Leah conceived and bare a son, and she called his name Reuben. For she said, Surely Yahweh hath looked upon my affliction. Now therefore my husband will love me. And it came to pass that she conceived again and bore a son, saying, Because Yahweh hath heard that I was unloved, therefore I have been given this son also. And she called his name Simeon. And it came to pass that she conceived again and bore a son, saying, Now this time will my husband be joined unto me, because I have borne him 3 sons. Wherefore was his name called Levi. And she conceived again and bore a son. And she said, Now will I praise Yahweh. Therefore she called his name Judah. And it came to pass that after this she bore her husband no more sons for a time. And when Rachel saw that she could bear Jacob no children, Rachel envied her sister and said unto Jacob, Give me children, or else I shall die. And the anger of Jacob was kindled against Rachel, and he said, Am I in the place of Elohim, who hath withheld from thee the fruit of the womb? And she said unto her husband, Behold, my handmaid Bilhah, go in and lie with her, and she shall bear thy seed, that I may also have children by her. And it came to pass that Rachel gave Jacob Bilhah, her handmaid, to wife, and Jacob went and lay with her, and Bilhah conceived and bore Jacob a son. And Rachel said, Elohim hath judged my case, and hath heard my voice, and hath given me a son. Therefore she called his name Dan. And it came to pass that Bilhah, the handmaid of Rachel, conceived again and bore Jacob a second son. And Rachel said, With great wrestling have I wrestled with my sister, and I have prevailed. And she called his name Naphtali. And it came to pass that when Leah saw that she was not bearing, she took Zilpah, her handmaid, and gave her unto Jacob to wife. And it came to pass that Zilpah bore Jacob a son. And Leah said, A troop cometh, and they called his name Gad. And it came to pass that Zilpah bore Jacob a second son. And Leah said, Happy am I, for the daughters will call me blessed. And they called his name Asher. And it came to pass that Reuben went in the days of wheat harvest and found mandrakes in the field, and brought them unto his mother Leah. Then Rachel said to Leah, Give me, I pray thee, of thy son's mandrakes. And Leah said unto her, Is it a small matter that thou hast taken my husband? And wouldst thou take away my son's mandrakes also? And Rachel said, Therefore he shall lie with thee tonight for the mandrakes of thy son. And Jacob came out of the field in the evening, and Leah went out to meet him and said, Thou must come in and lie with me, for surely I have hired thee with the mandrakes of my son. And Jacob lay with Leah, his first wife, that night, and God hearkened unto Leah, and she conceived and bore Jacob the fifth son. And it came to pass that Leah said, God hath given me my hire, because I have given my handmaid to my husband. And she called his name Issachar. And it came to pass that Leah conceived again and bore Jacob the sixth son. And Leah said, Elohim hath endowed me with a good dowry. Now will my husband dwell with me, because I have borne him 6 sons. And she called his name Zebulun. And it came to pass that afterward she bore a daughter, and called her name Dinah. And it came to pass that Elohim remembered Rachel, and hearkened to her, and opened her womb. And she conceived and bore a son, and said, Elohim hath taken away my shame. And she called his name Joseph. And it is this same Joseph, even our very father, that should be sent by Yahweh unto Egypt, and that should save Israel, the people of Yahweh. And this is the record of his people, even unto this day. Chapter 42, Flocks and Flight. And it came to pass that when Rachel had borne our father Joseph, that Jacob said unto Laban, Send me away, that I may go into mine own place and to my own country. Give unto me my wives and my children, for whom I have served thee, and let me go, for thou knowest my service, which I have done thee. And Laban spoke unto him, saying, I pray thee, if I have found favor in thine eyes, tarry, for I have seen that Yahweh hath blessed me for thy sake. Therefore appoint me thy wages, and I will give it. And Jacob said unto me, Thou knowest how I have served thee, and how thy flocks were with me, for it was little which thou hadst before I came, and it is now increased unto a multitude. And Ha Elohim hath blessed thee since my coming, and now behold, when shall I provide for mine own house also? And Laban said again, What shall I give thee? And Jacob answered him, saying, Thou shalt not give me anything, if thou wilt do this thing for me. I will again feed and keep thy flock. I will pass through all thy flock today, removing from thence all the speckled and spotted cattle, and all the brown cattle among the sheep, and the spotted and speckled among the goats. And of such shall be my hire. So shall my righteousness answer for me in time to come, when it shall come for my hire before thy face. And every one that is not spotted and speckled among the goats, and brown among the sheep, that shall be counted as thine. And Laban covenanted with him, saying, Behold, I would it might be according to thy word. And he removed that day the he-goats that were ring-streaked and spotted, and all the she-goats that were speckled and spotted, and every one that had some white in it, and all the brown among the sheep, and gave them into the hand of his sons. And Laban set 3 days' journey betwixt himself and Jacob fed the rest of the flocks of Laban. And it came to pass that Jacob took him rods of green poplar and of the hazel and chestnut tree, and pilled white streaks in them, and made the white appear which was in the rods. And he prayed over the rods, blessing them as to make them holy, and set the rods before the flocks in the gutters, in the watering troughs, when the flocks came to drink, that they that came to drink should conceive in abundance. And it came to pass that the flocks that came before the rods, these did conceive, and they brought forth cattle ring-streaked, speckled, and spotted, even as he had prayed. And Jacob did separate the lambs and set the faces of the flocks toward the ring streaked and all the brown in the flock of Laban. And he put his own flocks by themselves and put them not into the herds of Laban. And it came to pass that, it says, by blessing the rods, he made them holy objects. And it came to pass that whensoever the stronger cattle did conceive, that Jacob laid the rods that had been blessed of the power of Yahweh before the eyes of the cattle in the gutters, that they might conceive among the rods. And when the cattle were feeble, he put them not in. And so it was that the feebler were belonging to Laban and the stronger to Jacob. And because of this, Jacob increased exceedingly and had much cattle and maidservants and men servants and sheep and camels and asses. And it came to pass that Jacob heard the words of the sons of Laban, saying, Jacob hath taken away all that was belonging to our father, and all that which was once belonging to our father hath he gotten all this glory. And thus did Jacob behold that the righteous countenance of Laban had fallen, and behold, it was not towards Jacob any more. And the angel of Yahweh came unto Jacob, saying, Return unto the lands of thy fathers and to thy kindred, and Yahweh will be with thee. And Jacob sent and called Rachel and Leah to the field unto his flocks. And he said unto them, I see that your father's countenance is fallen, that it is not toward me as before, but the Elohim of my father hath been with me. And ye know that with all my power I have served your father, and your father hath deceived me and changed my wages 10 times. But Elohim has intervened that he could not hurt me. And if he said thus, the speckled shall be thy wages, then all the cattle bear speckled. And if he said thus, the ring streak shall be thy hire, then bear all the cattle ring streaked. And even so, Elohim hath taken away the cattle of your father and given them to me. And it came to pass at that time that the cattle conceived, that I lifted up mine eyes and saw in a dream, and lo, the rams which leaped upon the cattle were all ring streaked, speckled, and grizzled. And the angel of Elohim spoke unto me in a dream, saying, Jacob. And I said, Here am I. And the angel said, Lift up now thine eyes and see, for all the rams which leap upon the cattle are ring-streaked, speckled, and grizzled. For I have seen all that Laban doeth unto thee. And I have been sent by El of Bethel, where thou anointed the pillar, and where thou vowed a vow unto Yahweh. Now arise, get thee out of this land, and return into the land of thy kindred. And Jacob and Leah answered and said unto him, Is there yet any portion or inheritance for us in the house of our father? Are we not counted of him strangers? For our father hath sold us, and hath quite devoured also our dowry, and all the riches which Elohim hath taken from our father was to be ours, and for our children. Therefore, whatsoever Elohim hath said unto thee, thou must do, and we thy wives are with thee, our husband. Then Jacob rose up and set his sons and his wives upon camels, and he carried away all his cattle and his goods, which he had gotten, the cattle of his getting, which he had gotten in Padan Aram, for to go to Isaac his father in the land of Canaan. Chapter 43, A Covenant of Peace. And it came to pass that when Laban went out to shear his sheep, he saw that some of the Elohim made by the hands of man were gone. For so it was that Rachel had stolen the images that did belong to her father. And he saw too that Jacob had snuck away while Laban was unaware, in that he told him not that he intended to flee. And Jacob and his family and their people fled with all that they had, all that belonged to them, and the idols Rachel had taken unaware to Jacob and Laban. And seeing this, it came to pass on the 3rd day after Jacob had fled, Laban rose up, and he took his kinsmen with him and pursued after Jacob. And they passed over the river and set his face toward the Mount Gilead. And it came to pass that after 7 days' journey, and they overtook him in the Mount Gilead. But behold, in that very same night, the fear of Elohim came to Laban in a dream, saying unto him, Take heed that thou speak not to Jacob, either good or bad. And now it came to pass that the next morning Laban overtook Jacob, and Jacob had pitched his tent in the mount, and Laban with his brethren pitched in the mount of Gilead. And Laban said to Jacob, What hast thou done? That thou hast stolen away unawares to me, and carried away my daughters as captives taken with the sword. Why didst thou flee away secretly, and steal away from me, and didst not tell me, that I might have sent thee away with mirth, and with songs, and with tambourine, and with harp? And why hast thou not suffered for me to kiss my sons and my daughters? Thou hast now done foolishly in so doing. It is in the power of my hand to do you hurt. But the Elohim of thy fathers spoke unto me yesterday night, saying, Take thou heed that thou speak not to Jacob, either good or bad. And now, though thou wouldst needs be gone, because thou sore longest after thy father's house, yet wherefore hast thou stolen my gods? And Jacob answered and said to Laban, It was because I was afraid. For I said, Peradventure, thou wouldst take by force thy daughters from me. With whomsoever thou findest thy Elohim, let him not live. Before our kinsmen discern thou what is thine with me, and take it to thee. Jacob said this, thinking nothing had been taken falsely from Laban, for he knew not that Rachel had stolen the idols, hoping that she should bear her husband more sons. And Laban went first into the tent of Jacob, and then into the tent of Zilpah, and into the tent of Bilhah, and into the tent of Leah, but he found them not. And then when he had gone out of the tent of Leah, he entered into the tent of Rachel. And Rachel, who had taken the images and put them in the saddle of a camel and sat upon them, and she said to her father, Let it not displease my lord that I cannot rise up before thee, for the custom of women is upon me. And Laban searched all the tents, save it be where she sat. But he found them not. And he searched all over and around about the camp, but he found not the images. And Jacob was angry and rebuked Laban, saying, What is my trespass? What is my sin that thou hast so hotly pursued me? And see now that thou hast searched all my things, and what hast thou found of all thy household? Set it here before my brethren and thy brethren, that they may judge between us both. This 20 years have I been with thee, thy ewes and thy she-goats have not cast their young, and the rams of thy flock have I not eaten. That which was torn of beast I brought not unto thee, I bear the loss of it. Of my hand didst thou require it, whether stolen by day or stolen by night. Thus I was. In the day the drought consumed me, and the frost by night, and my sleep departed from my eyes. Thus have I been 20 years in thy house. I served thee 14 years for thy 2 daughters, and 6 years for thy cattle, and thou hast changed my wages 10 times, except the Elohim of my father, the Elohim of Abraham, the fear of Isaac, had been with me. Surely thou hadst sent me away now empty-handed. Ha Elohim hath seen my affliction and the labor of my hands, and rebuked thee yesternight. And Laban answered and said unto Jacob, These daughters are my daughters, and these children are my children, and these cattle are my cattle, and all that thou seest is mine. And what can I do this day unto these, my daughters, or unto their children, which they have borne? Now, therefore, come thou, let us make a covenant, I and thou, and let it be for a witness between me and thee, And Jacob took a stone and set it up for a pillar. And Jacob set unto their kinsmen, gather stones, and they took stones and made a pillar, and they did eat there upon it. And Laban called it Yegar Sahadutha, but Jacob called it Gilead. And Laban said, This mound shall be a witness between me and thee this day. And the name of it is also the watchtower, Mitzpah. For Laban said, Yahweh, watch between me and thee when we are absent one from another. And if thou shalt afflict my daughters, or if thou shalt take other wives besides my daughters, no man is with us. See, Elohim is witness between me and thee. Behold this pillar which I have cast between me and thee. It is a witness that I will not pass over this mound to thee, and that thou shalt not pass over this pillar unto me for harm. The Elohim of Abraham and the Elohim of Nahor and the Elohim of our father judge between us. And Jacob swore by the fear of the Elohim of his father Isaac. And then Jacob found a sacrifice upon the mount and called his brethren to eat bread. And they did eat bread and tarry all night in the mount. And early in the morning Laban rose up and kissed his sons and his daughters and blessed them. And then Laban departed and returned unto his home. Chapter 44. Angels, Israel, and Esau. And it came to pass that after Jacob had gone on his way from Gilead, that the Malachim of Elohim met him. And when Jacob saw them, he said, Herein dwell the hosts of Elohim. And he called the name of that place Mechaniah, for he saw that it was a bridge joining the two worlds, the heavens and the earth, and that he and his people were protected by the hand of Ha Elohim. And Jacob, in knowing this, he did send messengers before him to Esau, his brother, unto the land of Seir, the country of Edom. And he commanded them, saying, Thus shall ye speak unto my lord Esau, thy servant Jacob saith thus, I have sojourned with Laban, and stayed there until now, and I have oxen and asses, flocks, and men servants, and women servants, and I have sent to tell my lord that I may find grace in thy sight. And it came to pass that the messengers returned unto Jacob, saying, We came to thy brother Esau, and also he commanded to meet thee, and 400 men with him. Then Jacob was greatly afraid and distressed, and he divided the people that were with him, and the flocks, and herds, and the camels into two bands. And after this Jacob said, If Esau comes to the one company and smites them, then the other company which is left shall escape. And then Jacob did pray aloud, saying, O Elohim of my father Abraham, and Elohim of my father Isaac, Yahweh, which did say unto me, Return unto thy country and to thy kindred, and I will be good by thee. Yet I am not worthy of the least of all the mercies and of all the truth which thou hast showed unto thy servant. For with my staff I passed over this, and now I am become two bands. Deliver me, I pray thee, from the hand of my brother, which even the hand of Esau. For I fear him, lest he will come and smite me and the mothers with their children. And for a surety thou hast said, I will surely do thee good, and make thy seed as the sand of the sea, which cannot be numbered of multitudes. And he lodged there that same night, and took of that which came to his hand a present for Esau his brother, 200 she-goats, and 20 he-goats, 200 ewes, and 20 rams, 30 milking camels with their colts, 40 heifers, 10 bulls, 20 she-asses, and 10 foals. And he delivered them into the hand of his servants, every drove by themselves, and said unto his servants, Pass over before me, and put a space between the droves. And he commanded the foremost, saying, When Esau my brother shall meet thee and ask thee, saying, Whose art thou? And whither goest thou? And whose are these before thee? Then thou shalt say, It belongeth to Jacob, thy servant. It is a present sent unto my lord Esau. And behold, also, he is behind us. And so commanded he the second and the third and all that followed the droves, saying, On this manner shall ye speak unto Esau when ye find him. And say ye, moreover, Behold, thy servant Jacob is behind us. For he said, I will appease him with the present that shall go before me, and afterward I will see his face. Peradventure he will accept me. So went the present over before him, and he himself slept that night in the company. And he rose up that night and took his wives and his children, and these passed over the ford of Jabbok. And he took them and sent them over the brook. And he sent them over with that which he had, and then it was that Jacob was left alone. Chapter 45. Adam who is not Adam. And it came to pass that there came unto him a man who was not a man, and he sat and spoke to Jacob all the night. And Jacob wrestled with himself over the things he had done, for both good and evil, until the breaking of the day. For he feared that death would come to him by the hand of his brother Esau. And when the man who was not a man saw that he prevailed not towards Jacob, he touched the hollow of his own thigh, and the hollow of the thigh of Jacob was out of joint as he wrestled with himself, and he was awakened by the pain of it. And he who was a man but not a man said, And now I must go, for the day breaketh. But Jacob implored him, saying, I cannot let thee go from before me, except thou bless me. And he asked him, What is thy name, I pray thee? And he replied unto him, Jacob. And he who is a man but not a man blessed him, saying, Thy new name shall be Israel, for thou hast struggled with Elohim and with men, and have been given power of both. And thy children shall too be called such, so long as they stay upon my straight path. For the righteous are blessed, and they are those to whom the Holy One shall cause to see visions and to dream dreams. Therefore be wise, and know that in dreams Adam is forewarned and preserved from judgments and calamities, for the soul shall speak to the flesh in the time of sleep. And Jacob asked him, Tell me, I pray thee, thy name. And he who is a man but is not a man said, Wherefore is it that thou dost ask after my name? But it is Ben-Ammon. Hebrew Ben-Ammon, son of Ammon, or son of Amen, a name for Jesus Christ. The very son of Ammon. And there in that place where Ben-Ammon did bless Jacob, called the name of it Peniel, saying, I have seen Elohim face to face, and my life is preserved. And as Jacob passed over Peniel, the sun rose upon him, and he halted upon his thigh. And Jacob lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, Esau came, and with him 400 men. And Jacob had divided the children unto his wives and their mothers, unto Leah, and unto Rachel, and unto Bilhah, and unto Zilpah. And he put the handmaids and their children foremost, and Leah and her children after, and Rachel and Joseph, even our father, hindermost to keep them safe. And Jacob passed over before them and bowed himself to the ground 7 times until he came near to his brother. And it came to pass that Esau ran to Jacob and embraced him and fell on his neck and kissed him, and they wept. And Esau lifted up his eyes and saw the women and the children, and said, Who are these with thee? And Jacob answered him, saying, The children which Elohim hath graciously given thy servant. Then the 2 wives of Jacob that had been given him of Rachel and Leah came near, they and their children, and they bowed themselves. And Leah also with her children came near and bowed themselves. And after came our humble father Joseph and our mother Rachel, and they bowed themselves. And Jacob asked him, What meanest thou by all this droves which I met? And Jacob said, These are to find grace in thy sight of my Lord. And Esau said, I have enough, my brother. Keep that which thou hast unto thyself. And Jacob replied, saying, Nay, I pray thee, if now I have found grace in thy sight, then receive these my gifts at my hand. For when I saw the face of Elohim, my only request was to know that thou wast pleased with me. And Esau accepted the gifts, and offered unto Jacob gifts also, saying, Take, I pray thee, my blessing that is brought to thee, because Elohim hath dealt graciously with me, and because I have enough. And Esau urged him, and Jacob took it. And Esau said, Behold, our father doth yet live. Therefore let us take our journey together unto him. Yea, let us go, and I will go before thee. And Jacob said unto him, My Lord knoweth that the children are tender, and the flocks and herds with young are with me. And if men should overdrive them one day, all the flocks will die. Let my Lord, I pray thee, pass over before his servant, and I will lead on softly, according to as the cattle that goeth before me, and the children be able to endure until I come unto my Lord again. And Esau said, Let me now leave with thee some of the folk that are with me. And Jacob said, What needeth it? Let me find grace in the sight of my Lord. And as Esau returned that day on his way, leaving his brother, and went not unto their father. Chapter 46. The gift of the endowment. And it came to pass that Jacob journeyed with his people unto Isaac, his father, unto that place where Abraham and Isaac sojourned. And it came to pass that Isaac his father met Jacob and his wives there, and he blessed them. And Isaac endowed Jacob and his wives with the very power Melchizedek had given Abraham, and Abraham had given Isaac. Wow. It's given them their temple blessings. And blessing him, Isaac said, Thy name is Jacob, thy new name shall be Israel, and this shall be given thee for a sign and token that all might know the people of Yahweh Elohim. And Isaac blessed him further, saying, Elohim Shaddai shall bless thee. Therefore be fruitful and multiply. A nation and a company of nations shall be of thee, and kings shall come from out of thy loins. And the endowment which Yahweh Elohim gave thy fathers, Abraham and Isaac, to thee will it be given, and to thy seed after thee shall be given the land as they are worthy of it. And these gifts shall be of great worth, because they are from the very foundation of the Torah of Elohim, Yahweh, and by the Torah are all things governed. As mankind is willing to learn the Torah, the world shall endure. Therefore observe the trees at the evening of the day and the dawn of the morn. And this is when Shekinah shall love thee. And this is when Rosh Kadesh might place thee in the Garden of Eden of the very heavens to converse with thee in righteousness. And all the trees in the grove of Shekinah rejoice and chant their praises to the glory of her and of her husband and of their son, the Yakid God, Jesus Christ. And there is one Elohim above all, and Yahweh shall wear the crown in the day that death shall be defeated. And one is below all these things, and seeks to destroy the soul of mankind, even as it is born of the flesh and spirit in the mercy of Yahweh Elohim. And there is one that shall stand between the two, and Rock Kodesh that stands between the soul and the spirit to pass judgment on mankind, and through the judgment to beget a third. The soul is born and lives to love the eternal Torah of Ha Elohim. Torah means teachings, instructions, or law. And the spirit of the flesh and the soul, these three become one man or one woman. And this one is thus belonging to the kingdom of Yahweh Elohim. And as one atom made whole shines forth the divine light of life, and through the light that is poured out, the visible heavens and the earth are again united. One becomes two, which becomes three, which are one, shining in all six directions, rising in 12, reaching the heavens. And from 12 become 24, yet only 22 are seen by mankind. And in these were all things created by Ha Elohim. Therefore sleep not, my son, for if thou shalt sleep, thou wilt know these things not. For those that sleep are blind to the creation. And what shall happen when thou shalt be in the presence of the great judge of Ha Elohim? For all must answer to their deeds. And when the flesh shall be taken, the soul shall flee to Ha Elohim on high. And if the Torah be fulfilled, then the gates of heaven remain open to them. And after this, Jacob pondered over all he had seen and pondered over these things his father Isaac had blessed him with. And as he did, the angel of Yahweh appeared unto him and made a covenant with him and kissed his head and called him by name, calling him friend. And it is written in the testament of Jacob, the angel of Yahweh completed the covenant with him and with his seed forever, who are all they that believe on Yahweh Elohim in righteousness. And the Rosh Hokadesh went up from Isaac, and the angel of Yahweh looked on. And it came to pass that but a few days thence Isaac gave up the ghost and died, and was gathered unto his people, being old and full of days, and his sons Esau and Jacob buried him. And before Isaac died, he had reached the 180th degree. Chapter 47, Life and Death. And now it came to pass on the morrow, the angel of Yahweh said unto Jacob, Arise, go up to Bethel and dwell there, and make there an altar unto the Elohim that appeared unto thee when thou feared the face of Esau thy brother. Then Jacob said unto all his household, and to all that were with him, Put away the strange gods that are among you, and be clean, and change your garments. Let us arise and go up to Bethel, and there I will make an altar unto Ha Elohim, who answered me in the day of my distress, and was with me in the way which I went. And they gave unto Jacob all the strange gods which were in their hands, and all their earrings which were in their ears. And Jacob buried them in an empty and barren field which was near Shechem. And they journeyed, and the terror of Ha Elohim was upon the cities that were round about them, and they did not pursue after the sons of Jacob. And it came to pass that as they journeyed to Bethel, they were but a little way from Ephrath, and Rachel travailed, but she was with child, and she had great difficulty in her labor. And it came to pass when she was in hard labor that the midwife Deborah said unto her, Fear not, thou shalt have this son also. And it came to pass as her soul was departing that she called his name Benoni, but his father called his name Benjamin. And Rachel died and was buried on the way to Ephrath. Jacob wept and set a pillar upon her grave. And it came to pass that Jacob came to Bethel, he and all the people that were with him. There he built an altar and called the place El Bethel, because here Ha Elohim appeared unto him when he fled from the face of his brother. And it came to pass that Deborah, the nurse of Rebekah, died, and she was buried in Bethel under an oak, for she had been a mighty woman of Yahweh and a servant of Shekinah. And in the grove near the tree, the women built a dwelling place for to honor her. the Shekinah, and planted walnuts and certain flowers, and they did dance all around it. And Jacob set up a pillar in that same grove, in the place where he talked with Ben Ammon, even a pillar of stone, and he poured a drink offering thereon, and he poured oil thereon. And in these things which they did, both the men and the women, and Yahweh Elohim was pleased. And Jacob called the name of the place where Elohim spoke with him Bethel. And there at the altar, Jacob blessed his wife Leah with the same endowments he had been given, and she and his other wives each in turn, and Dinah, the daughter of Leah, which she bare unto Jacob. And so too did Jacob bless their sons, even as they came of age, and each was given their endowments in turn. And now the sons of Leah were Reuben, firstborn of Jacob, and Simeon, and Levi, and Judah, and Issachar, and Zebulun. And the sons of Rachel were Joseph, our father, and Benjamin. And the sons of Bilhah were Dan and Naphtali. And the sons of Zilpah were Gad and Asher. And these are the sons of Jacob, which were born to him and his wives. And it came to pass that Jacob took his wives, all but Rachel, who he had buried, and his children, and his people, and all that they possessed, and journeyed to Succoth. Walnuts have ties to Asherah worship, and there is evidence that Asherah was seen as the wife of Yahweh and was a goddess edited out of the modern Bible after Judea became monotheistic. Benameh, son of the right hand. And there he bought a parcel of a field where he had spread his tent at the hand of the children of Hamor and the father of Shechem, and he erected there an altar and called it Elohim Israel. And he built him a house and made booths for his cattle. Therefore, the name of the place is called Succoth. That ends the first Sefer of Moses. Thank you for joining Prophets of Babel today with your host, Janine. And it is good for us to be here.